So today we're painting my buddy's front bumper for his Honda S2000, and we're painting this thing Silverstone Silver, an OEM color, and I have no experience with painting silver. I've never painted silver, and from what I hear, it's the hardest color to paint. So that's awesome. Now I've painted a few things during my time. Painted my Acura Integra twice. I painted the roof of my CRZ. I painted the hood of my CRZ, the hood of my E36, and the whole front end of my green Integra. So I do kind of know what I'm doing, but like not like a crazy amount. So the tools that I'm using for this job are gonna be this Central Pneumatic 21-gallon air compressor from Harbor Freight. She ain't too bad, but I will say I haven't used her in a few months, and she's been sitting out in the rain. I have no idea if this thing works or not. Let's see, will it work? Okay, it works. World's loudest air compressor, by the way. But yeah, I got that thing for $100 on Marketplace. This is the spray gun I'm using. This is the AeroPro A610. You can see it's seen better days. I've definitely used it. And then this is the water trap that we have for it. This is our air regulator, pressure gauge thing. And yeah, this thing has done pretty well. It's a 1.3 tip. I don't really know what that means, but I've been using it and it's been fine. My buddies gave me all the paint. This is pretty much what I told him to order. I've never painted it with it before though. This is Paint Scratch 2.1 ready to spray acrylic primer. Ready to spray basically means that it's pre-mixed, it's pre-hardened. So you don't really need to do much in order to get it working. And that sounds good and all, but I also, you know, when I painted my other cars, I had to use hardeners, and you had to choose your hardener speed depending on the weather. All of this stuff that we have here, well, doesn't tell me the hardener speed. So I don't know if like the temperature we're painting in is proper. So this is our base coat. This is Omni. This doesn't have any directions on it. I don't know if like, so along with the kit that we got from Paint Scratch, we also have ready to spray clear coat. So again, I've never really used this stuff, so I have no idea how it's gonna turn out, and I'm quite a bit nervous. So new paint, new color, not a lot of instructions, we're kind of just winging it, and this is my very first customer job. So it may turn out well, it may not turn out well. I'm hoping that I can just avoid runs and streaks. Orange peel is welcomed, because we can always fix that with some wet sanding and with some buffing. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started on this guy. Now, I've never painted fiberglass before, but upon my research on YouTube and different forums, the starting grit we should use is about 120, 180. I don't know. We're kind of just gonna start with 120. We're gonna see how it turns out. We'll move up to about a 400. We'll lay down the primer, and then after laying down primer, we're gonna sand that down with 600, lay down the base, lay down the clear, and then we should have a freshly painted bumper and a happy customer. So come along this journey with me into our very first paid paint job. Spent a lot of money working on my own cars, painting my own cars, building my own cars, and it's finally time we do a little side quest and net us a little bit of profit. And hopefully the money that we make on this paint job should be enough to cover the paint job of my E36, which would be pretty cool. So let's go ahead, let's clean this bumper up, and let's start sanding. All right, we're just about ready to start sanding. I've got my respirator, because apparently fiberglass is like super toxic. You don't want to inhale that. And then we're gonna start off with 120 grit. Then we got the Milwaukee guy with a 5-inch foam interface pad, so that we can kind of go around those curves. All right, let's start sanding. So I finished the first round of sanding, and it's smooth, but it's a lot more complicated than I thought it would be. My electric sander pretty much only works like up here and then like on these sides, but all of the insides, this all needs to be hand sanded. So I've been taking my sanding discs, I've just been folding them, and then I've been going in here and just sand like that until it feels pretty smooth. That's obviously taking a lot longer. For the most part, the whole bumper is sanded with 120 grit. So after 120, I think we are going to do it all over again, but we're going to do it this time with 180 grit. And then after 180, we'll finish it off with a 220, and then I think we should be good to lay primer. My goal was to have the bumper fully primed up by today. I know that I don't have enough time today to probably prime, paint, and clear, but at least I do want to get it primed by today. That's the goal. So I'm gonna get back at it, and I'll update you when I'm done. So I'm pretty sure we finished sanding the bumper. I am an absolute mess. Fiberglass is messy. Definitely wear a mask. You don't want to be inhaling all of those toxic fibers of glass. So what we got going on. It's looking pretty good. It's nice and smooth. Super, super smooth. Finished it with 320. I thought I was gonna do 400, but through research, 320 seems to be pretty good. So 320 grit, nice and smooth. Now we need to clean up the area because everything, including myself, the bumper, the floor, the table, this floor, all this stuff is covered in fiberglass dust. And we don't want to paint with fiberglass dust everywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash the bumper. We're gonna spray the floors with water, and we're gonna spray everything with air so that we can get all the dust out of here. And then we're gonna prepare the bumper for our primer. Check it out. I got my jumpsuit on. My other clothes were contaminated with all of the fiberglass dust, so we swapped to different clothes. And so now what I'm doing is washing the bumper. So you want to get all the dust off. So I'm washing it with just normal water, and I'm just wiping it down. Then afterwards, we're going to wipe it down with a wax and grease remover. This is going to remove all of the fingerprints, all of just the general grime. Very important step, because if you don't use this, then you could risk contamination, and then your paint will react funny. We also have a tack rag as well for last minute lint. So I'm going to go ahead and get this prepped, and then we should be all ready to spray the primer. Fun stuff. Maybe I should have shaken it first. It's been a minute since I've done this, guys. Ain't gonna lie. It's all good. I got a stir stick. Definitely should have shaken it first. That's okay. You take the primer, and you take our cup. We're just gonna pour it in like that. Cool. This lid has a built-in screen filter. Set her down. There we go. So we did 3 coats of primer. Not too bad. Not too bad. You can see that little run right there. So that happened because I was trying to get in these, like, I don't know what's it called, like these vents. I was trying to get the paint in the ducts. It was pretty difficult. Yeah, it's not a big deal because most of the primer will get sanded down anyways. It's kind of hard to mess up primer, for being honest, but I mean, it laid down pretty smooth. It ain't too bad. So I am probably not going to finish the base and the clear today, mainly because it's going to be dark in like, yeah, it's going to be dark in like an hour. So this still needs to dry for like 30 minutes and it needs to be sanded. By that time, we're not going to have much light, and painting in the darkness is not exactly ideal. Also, I was having a little bit of some issues with my paint gun setting. I always forget which knob controls what. I kind of had to figure it out, but I don't know. I was spraying at 30 psi. The box said, the instructions on the primer said to use 30 psi, so that's what I was using. Another issue I was having was I was getting moisture out of the gun. Yes, I do have a water separator, but it doesn't seem to be working too well. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this cure, and I'll cut back to tomorrow when we do the wet sanding and then the final base coat and clear coat. All right, it is the next morning, and let me show you guys the bumper fully cured. So look at that. Primer laid down super smooth. No issues. And off camera, just this morning, I painted these bumper extensions. Not too bad. A little bit of trash in there. You see all those dimples. This was pretty badly damaged. The only way, and I sanded down all of the paint, try to get it as smooth as possible, but you have all of these issues because the fiberglass itself are damaged. You can see literally on this side, like this whole piece is broken off. So I did what I could. I don't have any fiberglass filler or anything like that. All right, so now for the bumper, we are going to start sanding it with 800 grit. Usually I'll do 600 grit, but with metallics, you need that extra fineness. So you want to do 800 grit. So I'm gonna go ahead and sand this down real quick with 800, and then we'll be ready to start spraying. We did a light dust coat, and then we did 2 full coats, and then we did a drop coat at the end. Turn the PSI down really low, and then you just kind of mist it, and it's to help the metallic kind of show up better. It's my first time doing that, and I felt like I was going to ruin it, but I did it anyways, and I think it turned out pretty good. Very minimal streaking, very minimal blotching. We're gonna let this dry for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then we're gonna come back and then we're gonna do a clear coat, and that should be all it for this bumper. It's not bad. I'll give you guys an in-depth view here. Yo, am I the goat or what? It's really not bad. Orange peel, not too bad. I sprayed at like 30 psi, but look at that. It's kind of hard to see when it's on the stand here, but yeah, dude, I'm kind of the goat. Not gonna lie. That is good. Don't even tell me it's not good. That is good. For a Harbor Freight air compressor, Amazon gun, and my very little experience, I think I killed it. Here are the bumper extensions. Obviously, couldn't really do much body work with them. I think they're fine, especially like up here, you can't even see it. But 1,000 times better than how it was before. So I'm gonna clean up here, and then I'm gonna cut back to when the bumper's fully cured tomorrow. All right, it's the next morning. Got the bumper moved over here. This is how she looks. Not too bad for a little DIY at-home paint job. Looks pretty professional, if you ask me. I will say, there's a few inconsistencies that I'm not a big fan of. A little bit of orange peel, but to be honest, that's no more than factory paint jobs. I'm not too mad about that. We didn't get any runs. We didn't get any streaking, and we didn't get any chemical reactions. So having orange peel, a little bit of it, is really not that bad. And look, you can still see me. There's a little bit of an issue right here. Now it's all pretty smooth, and you can't really tell, but right here, it goes from smooth to like rough and then to smooth. So I kind of lacked on coverage right here, and that kind of bothers me. So those are just like the inconsistencies. But overall, cheap paint job. Cheap tools, really not too bad. But I didn't paint this. I forgot. It was kind of just out of my sight. So that's all raw fiberglass still. But again, not a big deal because you won't see it. Because this is where the fender sits. I can literally show you right here. So this is where the fender sits. So even if there's no paint right here, you're not gonna be able to tell. I give it like a 7.5 out of 10. It's not perfect for my entry-level skill. So with that said, bumper's all painted. Let's go give it to my friend and get his reaction.
So pretty. too shabby.
Nice to have
Not too bad for backyard work.
Yeah, well, actually came out.